sailing my ship.
I think I changed the intro music for this week. Do it a little differently. After all, when you have an artist who's got some great music, it was kind of a nice little way to get this thing started. And
I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad you love it. I'm glad you like that. That's a good thing. I'm Rob Back from the Shared Universe Studios in the Jersey Shore. This lady, she might look familiar. This is sort of the take two, and here we go. If you weren't here last week, we had every problem that you can think of in the technological department. I mean, it happens. These are the things that I felt really bad for Olivia. I don't think it really was anything that you can control, but at the same token, you're going, wait a minute, we really didn't get a proper chance to really showcase her talent. So that's why I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you're here today, and we're going to get this thing right. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited to be here. I'm very stoked that everything's working so far. Hope we can keep this wheel turning.
I may be doing this for the next 35 minutes,
yeah.
but Ming, if you can scroll up the photos for me, I would like to at least get photo number 3 up here. This is the cover from the album. Silhouettes is the debut album from Olivia Rubini. Olivia's been doing music for a while, so don't let her age fool you. Your first song you recorded, what were you, 14, 15?
Yeah, I think I did my first cover song when I was 14. And I was releasing some covers on SoundCloud and stuff, just to kind of, get my foot in the door, get started, get some studio experience. But then my first single that I released, it was my own thing. I was 15, I think.
Wow.
So I was a little youngin'.
You know what? I don't think that's that rare anymore, but it's still kind of that you're getting your baptism under fire, so to speak. It's like, oh, I really want to do this. All right, let's try it.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the equation, you go into music knowing full well your family's got a musical background, which I will put photo number 4 up. This is your producer and just so happens to be your dad, Ritchie Rubini.
It so happens.
Yes, and I've known Ritchie for many years with his band, The Caulfields, from the 90s. And today, Ritchie, thank you so much for letting me have your daughter on here to talk about the album. But interestingly, he produces this album.
Oh, yeah.
Does there come a point where it's like, okay, this is no longer a father-daughter relationship. This has to be artist meet producer, producer meet artist. But that can't be easy at times because I'm sure there's got to be a little bit of that dad's coming through, daughter's coming through. How does that work?
I mean, I feel like so far, we figured it out. We've been doing this long enough that we can figure out where the lines in the sand are as far as where to, forget the dad hat for a second and you're putting on the producer cap of you can't judge me for lyrics and you can't be like, what does this mean? You just got to accept it and then put me in the booth and let it happen.
I'm glad you brought up the lyrics thing because that's the thing. It's a very deeply personal album, Silhouettes, and the lyrics are very touching. So I'm sure dad still had to come out a little bit and kind of go, how did that happen?
Oh, no.
Do I have to kill this guy?
No, nothing.
Okay.
He says, I didn't hear that. I'm just going to. Well, because when I was younger, if I would start writing about other stuff, I was super weird about it because I was like, I can't tell my dad. That's weird. But then I started being so hesitant that I wasn't getting anything done and nothing was being written. So he kind of had to be like, you can come forward and say your stuff just so we can be productive.
I hate to use this term, the separation of church and state, so to speak. It's sort of like, okay, hey, dad, I love you. And it's like, okay, all right, produce me. Where do we need to go sonically? Don't judge the lyrics.
Yeah, he doesn't at all.
That's great.
He doesn't, I don't think he pays attention, to be fair. He hears melodies and says it's either great or it's garbage. And then we move on from there. And we just do the producing thing, but he's not thinking about it.
Right.
We figured it out by now.
So at the end of it, at least, when Silhouettes is finally done, there's got to be that look on both of your faces like going, I don't want to see you for 2 days.
Yeah, it's like,
I love you, but
let's both listen to it separately on our own time and just have our own experience.
But at the same token, on the other side of it, I look at it and go, Ritchie's got to be extremely proud to kind of sit there and say, okay, my daughter wants me to handle this. This is
totally.
Yeah. Here's this young woman who's about to embark on her career. And when I say embark, I mean, you've done some things that most indie artists wouldn't have had done already. And I want to bring that out as Silhouettes is now available on all services where you buy your music. Go get it. Go enjoy it. Here's a woman who, by the way, has had a song on Spotify, has managed to get over 150,000 plays on a song. I mean, not many unsigned artists are getting that. I mean, how to be A surprise, but at the same token, be incredibly satisfying. How did To You kind of organically just become this thing on Spotify?
Yeah, I mean, literally overnight, it just got put on one of those algorithmic Spotify playlists. It was the Discover Weekly. So that just kind of gets put on everyone's like home screen automatically.
Right.
Because if the algorithm says that they'll like me, then well, they probably do. The algorithm knows best. Right. So overnight, it was like, oh, I'm being listened to in 95 countries, and I'm on thousands of playlists all of a sudden, and I'm looking through the playlist titles, and it's all different languages from all over the place. Right. It was insane. It was a total surprise. But people really enjoyed it because, you know, you can tell that they're enjoying it once you get the honor of being put on their personal playlist.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's one thing if you're put on the algorithm, but then once from the algorithm they say, yes, I enjoy it, it's pretty huge for the artist. It would like make me a little emotional. So it was a super surprise. It was like the best surprise ever. So let's fingers crossed for a second surprise.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be great. Algorithm, please bless me.
Yeah, bless me in the name of everything algorithm.
Bless me, please.
The other discovery had to be that your social media had to blow up, and all of a sudden you got all these followers coming at you, and you're like, what the hell? And then you start to add it up. It's like, wow, I got followers across the globe.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like,
go ahead.
It's just like mind blowing.
It has to be. Like
serious. Like on the Spotify for Artists website, you can look at all your stats in like crazy detail. And I'm looking at those like every day. But you know,
that's a bad idea though, because I think
it's awesome.
The business part of it comes in, and you kind of go, all right, I want to know how this is progressing. I want to know how is this going to work out, and what can I do differently to market it even better, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know your audience, and it tells you the tiniest, littlest details about your audience, so that you can know the ins and outs of who's listening and who's not listening, and who you should maybe start pitching to, so that you can grow the audience. It's a really cool thing that they gave artists that was like never a thing before, since till really recently. So it's a really cool little tool to use, but it's also like, it makes me emotional. I love looking at it. It's so fun.
I think it's interesting because it really has shown, and I think the changing point was probably around 2005. I can remember a band like Collective Soul leaving Atlantic Records and suddenly doing one on their own, and I thought, why are they doing it? And then you start to realize the business is starting to change. Now in 2021, it's great to have a label, but it's not a necessity, not necessarily to have the label to get it out and say, okay, but if I sell this, I can make this, and I can make it go at my career. I mean,
and I mean, now is the time for independent artists like it's never been before. The internet, it's amazing, and you know, TikTok and Instagram and all those things are amazing. And something that we always say is like, I mean, it used to be like really easy to get discouraged because you either made it or you didn't. Yeah. But now it's like you don't have to be Ariana Grande, Harry Styles, Demi Lovato to be successful. You can be in your own little sphere, in your own bubble with your own niche of fans and still have a very successful career and have a really nice living and be able to go on tour and all that stuff. Like there's people that I listen to who have a really decent following who all like introduce to my dad or to my other friends. They'll be like, I've never heard of this person in my entire life. And I'm like, well, they just had a world tour last week. So like, you know, they're doing something. So it's very new and it's very cool. It's encouraging, I feel like.
I like it on my end for another reason, because I've noticed indie artists are more receptive to not only doing podcasts, but because you basically have a lot more creative control. It's not like, oh, can I play the video? No, we can't because of the publishing rights and because of the label. Now, if you had a video, you'd be like, go right ahead.
There you go. Use it.
And I've had artists like Nicole Atkins, who's phenomenal, who's getting back on the road. I've had Henry Hall, amazing guy from California, who's got famous parents, but he's got great videos. He's fantastic. Tom Koenig is another sensational singer-songwriter. So getting these people like yourself to come on and perform and talk about the music, I think you're embracing what 2021 is offering you between Spotify, promoting the music, going on podcasts and saying, hey, here I am. Hey, pick up the music if you like it.
Totally. I mean, you'd be an idiot not to embrace it. It's cool to go the traditional path with things, but now is the time. And it's like, you have so many ways to go and so many paths you could possibly take. You know, if you want to post a TikTok every day, you'll get a little following there. If you want to post the reels on Instagram, you can do that. If you want to do both, if you want to do YouTube, if you want to do, they're endless. The possibilities are endless, and that's just, it's so cool.
Yeah, and
I'm glad to be in this time.
Definitely. And I'll bring up a point. You had a video that was out called Breathe Me Into Life, which came out a few years ago. Got the Vivo treatment. Now, if you don't know, Vivo is that tag that you see on a lot of the major label videos when they come out, and they get a lot of big-time support. Indie artists don't necessarily get the shot with Vivo. I know it was a great thing to have happen. Yeah. And again, little things that kind of have given you more of a leg up than most indie artists, between the Spotify, between the Vivo treatment on the video. Mm-hmm. So, in a sense, here's the long-awaited debut, but you've got a lot of good footwork in front of you to get to this point. Yeah, totally. And I know that I've been a step ahead just because of my circumstances and my connections and how I was raised and all that stuff. I'm very grateful for that. I know that that's what I got going on. And I think just being able to start so young in a place of like higher legitimacy. Yeah. It was, a huge leg up that I'm exuberantly grateful for, because that's just like, I would be 5 steps behind if I didn't start then, Well, we're going to put you one step ahead in just a second. This is Olivia Rubini on the A Game. Get ready to go to work. Ming, I'm going to ask you to set this up. Olivia is going to do the song that I love on the album. It's called Fuzzy. And we'll get into one screen. Put Olivia center stage, please. It is all on you. This is from her new album, Silhouettes. If you love the music, go out, get the downloads, get the music. You won't be disappointed. Live, Olivia Rubini here on the A Game. Sick. Fuzzy, go for it.
I smell the rain, I see your face, I fall in love one more time. I hear the waves crashing down, although it's all in my mind. But it's kind of fuzzy these days. Connections buzzy and gray, just like in TV, but I'll tune you in this time. A million miles is not so far if I close my eyes, then I climb upon a star, then I start to visualize, but it's kind of fuzzy these days. Connections buzzy and gray, it's like a TV, but I'll tune you in this time. Well, it's kind of fuzzy these days. Connections buzzy and gray, search the static and I'll tune you in this time. It's kind of fuzzy these days. Connection is buzzy and gray. With the TV, but I'll tune you in this time. It's kind of fuzzy these days. Connection is buzzy and gray. Search the static and out to you in this time. But it's kind of fuzzy these days. Connections fuzzy and gray. It's like a TV, but out to you in this time. It's kind of fuzzy these days. Connections fuzzy and gray. Search through the static and out to you in this time.
Fuzzies from the album Silhouettes, now available through all the platforms that you get your music. Look for Olivia Rubini and pick up your favorite tracks. Pick up the whole album. You won't be disappointed. Here on the A Game, very nice. Ms. Rubini, very nice.
Thank you.
I will say this. If you tuned in last week, we didn't even get to that point. So we're way ahead of the curve. Yes,
We're
exactly.
way ahead of the curve now.
Way ahead of the curve now. Oh, by the way, before I get into random shots, Ming, give me photo number 1. I'd like to congratulate Olivia from a recent graduation over at Mount St. Mary's University up in Emmitsburg, Maryland. Yeah, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Photo number 1, Ming, and that's an official congratulations. Way to go.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We share something in common. I did not have a communications degree. I got a business degree, a mathematics minor, and one in radio. You're in music, but your degrees are in
political science, international relations, and Spanish. Total opposites of the music game, innit?
Yeah, there is nothing there that says music whatsoever.
Nope, nothing at all.
Nothing at all. All right, well, let's go to random shots. These are random questions that I've come up on Olivia based on a little bit of knowledge of her dad, a little bit of knowledge of her, and social media. We throw it all together, and these questions can come from anywhere, and Olivia kind of knows that from doing it last week. We changed it up a little bit because I don't want her to give her the same pat answers. If you want to know what happened last week, go to my Facebook page and you'll find it. There's a lot of pausing in there, but it's another story altogether. Okay, with that being said, Daddy Ritchie Rubini and, of course, your uncles John Fay and Sam Musumeci and new uncle Brett Talley form the Caulfields today. Back in the 90s, they were all over alternative radio. But for you, when it comes to 90s bands other than the Caulfields, you have a favorite?
Okay, this is going to be a horrible, horrible answer. That's not something that I'm into super, which sucks. So I really have no answer for that. That's not my jam, which is so annoying.
Oh, my God. Hey, it's
I'm
honest. Give me that.
At least I'm honest.
Yes, I will give you. All right. I want photo number 8, if you don't mind. This was recently. Olivia was at the beach recently.
I was.
Rehoboth, Bethany, where we at?
I was actually in Brigantine, New Jersey.
Brigantine. Wow. Wait a minute. You crossed the bridge?
I did.
Hey.
Yeah, one of my college roommates is there for the summer. They have a house, so we celebrated our graduation. So it was a fun time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I will have to steer it back to Delaware for a second.
That's fine.
Delaware.
That's fine now.
Obviously, when it comes to Rehoboth Beach, a lot of things to love about it. Now, I will say this. We did mention Thrasher's Fries is one of the best things on the Rehoboth Boardwalk, bar none. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And if you've never had it, if you go to Rehoboth, don't worry about it. I mean, you can get dollies, you can get your taffy and all that stuff, but you got to get the Thrasher's
Not important. You have to have Thrasher's Fries with a lot of vinegar. That's the only way to do it. And if anyone tells me otherwise, then they're lying.
Well, then this becomes a tough question.
Oh, no.
The better Delaware thing, because these two things are really distinctively Delaware. Thrasher's Fries is distinctively Delaware, and Ming, photo number 6, the Bobby from Capriotti's is also something distinctively Delaware. I mean, obviously, if I had it my way, I'd have both and be like going, I'm pigging out, but that's just me. But if you had to pick
yeah, that's me too. Let's be honest. I feel like Thrasher's is more of a treat for me because I don't go to the beach super often.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, I can pop over to Capriotti's whenever I want, but I can only go to Thrasher's on occasions. So I feel like that makes me inclined to say Thrasher's fries.
Okay. I like the logic. See, I will be coming down to Delaware probably the next month, and it's like if I can't get the Rehoboth, I've already told my friends, if I don't get a Bobby, I don't care if it's summer, I need a Bobby. It must be done. It has to be.
Well, you got to. You can't pass that opportunity up.
I give and by the way, for the people who support Capriati's, bravo, because Capriati's has gone beyond Delaware. They got locations in Vegas and many parts in the West. I'm like, they're not coming to Jersey. I'm like, going, please.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, come on, get a location. Come on now. All right. Also on Random Shots from last week, you were talking about you like scrapple. Now, scrapple was also a thing that was very popular in Delaware, and I found that out when I was living there. But you threw an interesting curveball at me. Remind me what you said, how you like scrapple.
I said you need it with jelly. That's not, I'm like, it's savory and it's sweet, and it sounds like it's going to be gross. I can't explain it without anyone having it, but it's so good.
And I dedicate this to you because I did this before I came here to do the podcast. Ming, play the video. Okay. Olivia Rubini, thank you for coming back on my podcast. And since you like this so much, yeah. Okay, just so I can get everybody to... I'm trying to look at this and make sure I got it on my fork. There, where you're holding the camera at the same time. Okay. So there it is. That is scrapple. As you can see, it is cooked. We cut it thin. And I drop it. All right, make sure we get the jelly back on there. You saw there was grape jelly on there, right? You saw it. Okay. Just so we can get it back. Okay. Nah, you know what? Not enough grape jelly. If I'm going to do this, I got to do it right, So this is supposedly about the sweet with the salty. You notice I'm like delaying here that I really am just not looking forward to this whatsoever. Okay, one more time. Okay. Jelly just doesn't want to stay on here. Come on. Here we go. All right. That looks like enough jelly, right? Oh, okay, she's all right. It's not that bad. Damn it, Olivia, it's not that bad. I don't know if I do that all the time, but I think I get it. Yes, you just seen a grown man eat the remainder of a pig, put it into a mold, fried in a pan, and put grape jelly on top of it. This is what I'm willing to do on my podcast, especially when you have somebody willing to come back for a second time. There you go. And I got to give props to your dad for a second, because Ritchie did make a point while we were off the air. I did not put flour on it, and it would have got it even crispier. Wasn't bad. It got some crisp, but not enough crisp. I'll say that.
Okay. I have notes.
Okay.
So I would say.
I'm writing.
It's going to be different when you do make it a little crispier.
Ah, okay.
2. Try strawberry.
See, you didn't tell me that. I just went for grape.
Okay.
Strawberry.
Okay.
Right.
Not saying grape is bad, because I also rock with the grape. That's grape. Fine. My dad likes grape.
My dad likes grape. Okay, Ritchie, thank you. Okay, so he approved of the grape. Okay, that's
good.
I
think grape is a stronger flavor than strawberry. So I think if you're trying to ease your way into the scrapple jelly thing, strawberry is like, it's a little tamer. I like strawberry.
I learned something here. Yeah, definitely learned something.
But now that you know that it's not horrible,
no, it's not. That's
try it again.
I was expecting horrible. I was expecting there's no way, and then you're kind of like savoring it, and you're going, "Wait a minute."
Flour it and cook it low and slow.
Yeah, my dad says flour it low and slow.
And you think I lived for Delaware for like 12 years? I should have known that. But again, I was lucky to find scrapple in Jersey. Trust me on that. It was
yeah, that's a fact.
And here's the funny part: it wasn't Rappa. Rappa was not available where I went shopping. I'm like, oh, how's that possible? But
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was. By the way, if you go on Facebook, you will see that I actually did fry it up. The brand is there, so they can have a plug. I don't remember the brand.
We're plugging brands now. We're getting crazy.
More random shots with Olivia Rubini. Okay, cover songs. You were talking about the fact that one of the first songs you actually recorded was a cover.
Yeah.
Is there a song that you sit there out of all the songs that are out there and say, okay, if I had a chance to record this, I can actually hear myself doing it this way, arranging it this way, and kind of say, if you're going to put it on an album, what would come to mind?
Well, maybe this is a good time to plug. I am doing a cover of something very soon, and it feeds into my answer from last week. Yes. It's a Harry Styles song called From the Dining Table, and it's a little ballad, a piano ballad, and it's very nice and emotional, and it's very cute, and I like it. So
I think that's the interesting thing about a guy like Harry Styles, because in a sense, here's a guy who did One Direction and just basically said, no, if you're looking for a One Direction album, you're not going to get it from me when I do solo.
And I'm so happy that that's the way that it went, because I was never a One Direction fan. I was never like a screaming 12-year-old girl for One Direction. But I'm a Harry Styles fan. I'm a stan at 22 years old. So love him and everything he does.
It's going to defend my point about you, where it's like I listen to your pop music. It is got so many different levels to it. There's a little bit of a jazz influence. It can be poppy. It could be a little R&B. It can be, and it's you're not going to let yourself be pigeonholed. And I think Harry Styles intentionally did the same thing on his album. He's like, if you think you know what I'm going to do, you're not going to know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took a lot of influence from his style. I mean, production-wise, lyric-wise, just he doesn't put himself in a box. I don't think anyone should be putting themselves in a box. I don't want to be put in a box. You know, you listen to his album and it's all cohesive, but the songs are very different. And there'll be piano ballads and with string arrangements, and then there's going to be like a rock song with like a ripping guitar solo, and it's like, who's saying that you can't have both on one album? It's sick. It's awesome. So it's like, I do it. Rock with it.
Yeah, I like what you say about that, but I'm as a radio guy for many years, I'm kind of guilty of it. We try to put people in boxes at times. We said, "Oh, they sound like this," so that's sort of a reference point. And maybe if we did less of that and kind of say, "Hey, look, just embrace it for what it is. If you like it, great, go buy it. If not, then I understand."
Yeah.
But maybe less comparables. But again, for whatever reason, I think human nature just makes us do that. If you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, it's way easier to do that, and then for like pitching and like marketing purposes, the business aspect wants you to be in a box.
Yes.
But I also feel like now, just like how it's the time for independent artists and all that stuff, this is the time to be like, you can do whatever you want and no one cares. Like my next album could be totally out of left field and no one would care. It would just be like, oh, she just changed it up, but that's cool.
Right.
Because like that's what everyone's doing. Like everyone's just changing their style from one album to the next, while you keep the consistency with like who you are as an artist and your vocal performance and like maybe the production aspect, but you have your eras, as the kids say. So
I like actually the 22-year-old going, as the kids say.
No, listen, it's like the 16, 15-year-olds are on a whole different level. It's like two different planets, and I know that they're talking about people's eras. That's what I see all the time on TikTok. So
that's it. See, and I've been Rob, you need to get on TikTok. I'm now after this conversation. I think I don't have a choice. I think I'm learning something.
No, you got it. I held off for a really long time because I was like, social media distracts me enough, and I was like, I got school and I got other stuff to do. I can't add another social media in the mix. So I caved though. I had to. There was too many references that I wasn't understanding in like pop culture that was coming directly from TikTok. So I was like, I guess I gotta get on it. And I post, and I'm gonna get better at posting. So I'll make this a plug for my TikTok. It's Olivia.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, and what is it? Olivia Rubini, or did you put a hand on just Olivia?
Just Olivia Rubini. All my social media is just Olivia Rubini. It's easy.
There you go. So look up TikTok, look up Instagram, look up all the places where you do your social media, and follow Olivia. Be amongst the thousands and tens of thousands, I should say, that are following.
Millions. Just kidding.
Soon to be millions.
Soon to be millions.
All right, one more on random shots, because obviously the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have made their inductions. There is one interesting guy from the Delaware Valley area who finally got in. Oh, okay. So you obviously approve of Todd Rundgren, but
I do.
It's interesting. I don't expect somebody so young to really understand the levels of. Well, I'll put it this way: Todd is God. As people say.
Todd is God.
Yeah.
Period. I agree. He's awesome.
Right. Was that a dad influence kind of growing up? You heard a lot of Rundgren and Utopia growing up.
Oh yeah, that was huge in the Rubini household, and my dad has the books on Todd with the pictures of him with the multicolored hair and the feathers and all that stuff. So I'd be like, flipping through the pages while I'm like a little kid, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? Yeah. And he would tell me all the little stories that he would pick up from other people, and it's like halfway local, so I feel like there's like that weird connect just because of like East Coast and all that business. Right. So I don't know, it was a huge part. We were always listening, and my dad always plays Todd on the piano, and it's jams all the time. It's like very Todd-centric household.
Why do I have this feeling? I'm picturing your father playing piano and you going, "Hello, it's me."
It's a very accurate representation of our house.
Fantastic.
Very accurate.
Olivia Rubini's here on the A Game. Ming, can we go back to photo number, I think it's number 3, so we can put up the album cover one more time. Silhouettes is the album. Go out, buy it. Olivia's going to be nice enough to do one more song for us to whet your appetite as far as the album goes. And this song, by the way, Never Call Me But Call Me, it's interesting. It's sort of this, okay, I know we're not together. I know, but I'm still thinking about you. You never call me, but should you be calling me? No, call me. No, I don't.
It's also very, I'm very over it. I'm over it at this point, and I talk some trash in the song if you really listen. Yeah. And it's very shady, but also it's like, maybe I want your attention, and I'm not going to answer because I don't want to talk to you, but I want to know you're thinking about me, even though I'm never going to engage ever again.
That's a very, very mature lyrical outlet. I like that. Before you sing, real quick, I know the world's starting to open up again. You're going to try to get out, hopefully do some shows in the Philly, Delaware, maybe even Jersey areas. Yeah,
I'm starting to get some stuff booked up, and all of those dates are going to be on my website and on my Spotify if you go under the tour tab. And they'll all be on my social media. I put a lot of those things on my stories and I highlight them. So they'll be around for you to look at and, for the near future. So once they all get really booked up, God willing, everything opens up as it is planned to. Yes. Then you'll see all this stuff on my social media.
Well, I want to put 2 venues into your future because I know one of them is anybody who's been a musician around the Delaware area. Bottle and Cork has to be a place where you want to play and have that opportunity to be on that stage. So I would think that's one. And
I'm not going to say anything, but I think that maybe in the future.
Fantastic. I'm happy to hear that. The other one only because, again, distinctively Jersey and the history of it in Asbury Park would be the legendary Stone Pony. Yeah.
I'll make my way.
Yeah, I know you will. And I look forward to that for sure.
I see you. I'm making my way.
Olivia, thank you so much. I'm glad we got this right. Well, I'm not going to say it yet. We're not done yet.
Can't choose it yet.
I will say thank you for your time. Please go out and support Olivia and the music. Let's get her on a single shot here. Let's get it set up. To take us out, Olivia Rubini's song is Never Call Me But Call Me from her debut album, Silhouettes. It is here.
All right. For it.
No, from that smile, we would talk a while, but I never had a clue. Thinking back to August, maybe I just bought it. All the things you used to do, I would pick up or call my phone. I'd rather be here alone. I know I shouldn't say this, I know I should know. Never call me or call me. You used to be my baby, now you're just someone to know. Never call me or call me. Sorry if I bored you, I'm not the type you're used to, the type that never stays around. And maybe something changed you, but that's not my issue. Oh, you see things different now. I will pick up and call my phone. I'm rather be here alone. I know I shouldn't say this, I know I should know. Never call me, call me. You used to be my baby, now you're just someone I know. Never call me, call me. I know I shouldn't say this, I know I should know. Never call me, call me. You used to be my baby, now you're just someone I know. Never call me, call me. You used to be my baby, now you're just someone I know. Never call me, call me. Yeah. Woo.
Thanks again for watching the A Game this week. I'm glad you're still here, because now I can tell you that I have a YouTube channel. Well, you actually may be watching it on the YouTube channel. So if you're not on my YouTube channel, subscribe to it now. If you are subscribed, thank you. Spread the love, share it, let everybody know why they should be subscribed to the A Game with Rob Akampora, because you're having fun, right? Let people know. Please, don't make me beg.